The global trade landscape was shaken recently as the United States imposed a hefty 104% tariff on certain Chinese imports. This move marked a significant escalation in the ongoing trade war between the world's two largest economies. The tariffs, targeting specific Chinese goods, have sent shockwaves through international markets and raised concerns about the future of US-China trade relations. This latest tariff hike is not an isolated incident, but rather the latest salvo in a tit-for-tat trade battle that has been raging for years. Understanding the reasons behind these escalating tariffs requires delving into the complex history of economic tensions between the US and China. The trade war between the US and China is not a recent phenomenon. It has been simmering for years, fueled by a complex interplay of economic and political factors. The US has long accused China of unfair trade practices, including intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and currency manipulation. These accusations have been a source of tension for years, with the US arguing that these practices give Chinese companies an unfair advantage in the global market and harm American businesses and workers. The Trump administration in particular took a more aggressive stance on trade with China, imposing tariffs as a way to pressure Beijing to change its trade practices. The US government argues that the 104% tariff, while steep, is necessary to protect American businesses and jobs. They contend that certain Chinese industries benefit from unfair government subsidies, leading to artificially low prices that harm American competitors. The tariffs, according to the US perspective, are aimed at leveling the playing field and ensuring fair competition for American industries. The US government maintains that these measures are essential to safeguard American jobs and economic interests from what they perceive as unfair Chinese trade practices. Section 4, Retaliation and Resistance. China, however, views the tariffs as an unjustified attack on its economy and a violation of international trade rules. The Chinese government has been vocal in its opposition, stating that these measures are not only harmful but also counterproductive to global economic stability. Beijing argues that its trade practices are fair and that it is committed to abiding by global trade norms. Chinese officials emphasize that their policies are designed to foster mutual growth and cooperation, rather than to create conflict or economic disparity. China has responded to the US tariffs with retaliatory tariffs of its own, targeting key American exports such as soybeans and automobiles. These countermeasures are strategically chosen to hit significant sectors of the American economy, aiming to exert pressure on the US administration to reconsider its stance. This tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs has had a significant impact on both economies, disrupting supply chains, raising prices for consumers, and creating uncertainty in the business community. The ripple effects are felt across various industries from agriculture to manufacturing, leading to a slowdown in economic activities and a rise in financial market volatility. China maintains that it is open to dialogue and negotiation, but will not bow to pressure or accept what it considers to be unfair trade demands. The Chinese leadership continues to advocate for a balanced approach, seeking to resolve disputes through diplomatic channels while preparing to defend its economic interests robustly. The ongoing trade tensions underscore the complexities of international trade relations in the modern era, highlighting the need for careful negotiation and mutual understanding. Section 5. Global Trade at a Crossroads. In today's interconnected world, the dynamics of global trade are more complex and interdependent than ever before. The ongoing trade war between the US and China has far-reaching implications for the global economy. This conflict, which began with tariffs and has since escalated to include technology restrictions and other economic measures, is reshaping the landscape of international commerce. These two economic giants play a pivotal role in international trade, and their escalating dispute threatens to disrupt global supply chains and slow down economic growth worldwide. The ripple effects are being felt across various industries, from manufacturing to technology and even agriculture. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has warned that the trade war is a threat to the global economy and could lead to a decline in investment and trade. Economists are particularly concerned about the long-term impacts, which could include reduced innovation and a slowdown in the development of new technologies. The tariffs imposed by both countries have already started to impact businesses and consumers around the world. Higher costs for raw materials and finished goods are leading to increased prices for consumers, while businesses are struggling to maintain their profit margins. The uncertainty surrounding the trade war is also making businesses hesitant to invest and expand, further dampening economic activity. Companies are finding it difficult to plan for the future, and this hesitation is contributing to a broader economic slowdown. The global trade environment is at a critical juncture, and the decisions made by these two superpowers will have lasting consequences for the world economy. Section 6. A war of words. The trade war is not just playing out in the economic realm, it is also a war of words, with both sides engaging in heated rhetoric. The verbal sparring between the two nations has intensified, reflecting the underlying tensions and strategic rivalry that define their relationship. U.S. President Joe Biden has called China's trade practices abusive and accused Beijing of cheating the international trading system. He has emphasized the need for fair competition and has vowed to hold China accountable for its actions. Biden's administration has taken a firm stance, implementing tariffs and sanctions aimed at curbing what it sees as unfair trade practices. Chinese officials have countered by accusing the U.S. of protectionism and bullying and have vowed to defend their country's interests. They argue that the U.S. is trying to suppress China's rise and maintain its own global dominance. Beijing has responded with its own set of tariffs and has sought to strengthen its economic alliances with other countries to mitigate the impact of U.S. measures. These strong statements highlight the deep mistrust and animosity that have come to characterize the U.S.-China relationship in recent years. The rhetoric from both sides has fueled nationalist sentiments, leading to public protests and a hardening of positions. The media in both countries have played a significant role in shaping public perception, often portraying the other side as the aggressor. The trade war is a symptom of these broader geopolitical tensions, and any resolution to the trade dispute will likely require addressing these fundamental disagreements. Economists and analysts suggest that a long-term solution will need to involve not just trade policies, but also diplomatic efforts to rebuild trust and cooperation. The stakes are high, as the outcome of this conflict will have significant implications for the global economy and international relations. Section 7. An uncertain future. The future of the U.S.-China trade war remains highly uncertain. While there have been attempts at negotiations and agreements, the relationship remains fragile, and the tariffs remain in place. Some experts believe that the tariffs are unlikely to be lifted anytime soon, and that the trade war could continue for years to come. Others hold out hope that a negotiated settlement can be reached, but this would require both sides to make concessions and find common ground. The trade war has had a significant impact on the global economy, and its resolution will have far-reaching consequences for businesses and consumers worldwide.